Good evening, friends. Today, our topic is hernia, especially inguinal hernia. To discuss this topic, we have to discuss it under various subheadings like introduction, definition, anatomy, etiology, clinical features, examination, differential diagnosis, management, and recent advances. Now, coming to definition, hernia is protrusion of content or its covering. Anatomy of inguinal canal, position of deep ring and superficial ring, anatomical site of pubic tubercle, conjoint tendon, content of inguinal canal, relation of inferior epigastric artery in Hasselbeck triangles, femoral hernia. Pathology is the weakening of tissues which leads to hernia. Now coming to the main 5 points of diagnosing hernia. There should be a cuff impulse that is visible on standing. Swelling is reducible. When patient lying down, it becomes reducible. Getting above the swelling is positive. Testis is separable. There is no fluctuation and transillumination. These are the 5 classical signs of hernial swelling, but there are exceptions also. Mostly hernia presents as congenital hernia or in elderly patients. Predisposing factors are cough, constipation, urinary straining. Chronic cough can be caused by long history of tuberculosis, COPD, constipation, urinary straining, and benign prostatic hyperplasia, meatal stenosis, urethral strictures. History given by the patient. Patient complains of uh, incidental finding of a swelling in inguinoscotal region or in groin, which increases on straining on or working, or which reduces on lying down. There may be some discomfort also associated with the swelling. We have to see about the swelling is reducible or not. There are any signs of obstruction like constipation, vomiting, bowel obstruction. If bowel is obstructed, then it's become obstructed hernia. There may be signs of ischemia also on strangulation. History of COPD, hypertension, diabetes, any blood thinner is patient taking, or any history of previous surgery, any drug allergy, and I will elaborate more points in further presentations also. On examination, we have to see these 5 points like on inspection, skin and description of swelling, any prominent vessels, and cuff impulse. We have to confirm our findings on palpation. There should be a cuff impulse that is visible on standing. Swelling is reducible. When patient lying down, it becomes reducible. Getting above the swelling is positive. Testis is separable. There is no fluctuation and transillumination. These are the 5 classical signs of hernial swelling. Classification also NYHUS. Based on this, type 1 is indirect inguinal hernia with a normal inguinal ring. Peritoneal sac is in the inguinal canal. Type 2 is indirect hernia with an enlarged deep inguinal ring with the posterior wall intact, sac not in scrotum. Type 3 is posterior wall inguinal flow defects, which is further subdivided into type 3A direct hernia with the posterior flow defect only. Type 3B indirect hernia with enlargement of deep inguinal ring and posterior flow defect. Type 3 is femoral hernia. Type 4 recurrent hernia, which is subdivided into A is direct, B is indirect, C is femoral, D is combination of A, B, C. Direct is medial to in relation to inferior epigastric artery, which comes from superficial ring, and indirect is lateral to inferior epigastric artery, which comes from deep inguinal ring. I think these are the main point, and I will like to put it in a chronological order also, so it will helps you in academic and in also clinical purpose also. Now coming to management. Management is divided into to prepare the patient for surgery and to know about the fitness of the patient, and some investigations also there to rule out some predisposing causes or see the comorbid conditions. Like in an elderly patient, I would like to do a ultrasound prostate with post-viral residual urine to know about the status of prostate. We can do chest X-ray and pulmonary function test also. So rest of the investigations are routine investigations like complete blood hemogram with platelet counts, coagulation profile, liver kidney function test, ECG, chest X-ray, viral markers. So after investigation patient, we will prepare for surgery, mesh repair, herniatomies in case of congenital hernia, and these surgeries can be done by open or by laparoscopic method also. In laparoscopic method, there are two methods, TEPP and TAP. So friends, thanks very much, and I think I will elaborate in further presentations about inguinal hernia. I am leaving you with details of anatomy, etiology, and surgical management.